Here we're going toward the contemplations on harming. Harming is the fifth area. Harming. It means to harm ourselves, harm others, harm nature, harm ourselves through our way of eating, living our life without mindfulness, and we cause suffering for ourselves. And while we're doing that, we also cause death suffering for other people around us, and cause sufferings for all other forms of living, of life around us. So that's why living in this way, we don't have compassion. And we don't have this compassion, then we don't have happiness. A person who doesn't have compassion, they don't have happiness. That's the funny thing about it. About eating vegetarian. Vegetarianism is a practice of non-harming, non-violence. In this world, we have a lot of people who eat vegetarianism because they want to have good health. They're afraid of eating a lot of fat, a lot of poisons, so they eat vegetarian. But there's a bigger effect to eating vegetarian. Because while we're doing this, we are able to nourish our compassion. We see this animal like this. And if we slit its throat and get the blood to make this food, then we cannot tolerate that. In the beginning, we could tolerate it because we were used to it. We were born and we saw this, and it became a habit. But once we're in contact with that suffering, we know that if in the case that our throats get cut like that, we suffer a lot. So if we see the fish or the chicken or duck are being slaughtered, so we feel in our heart we're not at ease. When we see an animal, a small being that is being robbed of its life, and that we turn our eyes away, that we don't feel hurt, that we don't feel cared for, that is a disadvantage for us. When we see someone else killing a chicken or kill a duck, and we see them kill a fish, when we see that in the slaughterhouse they push the cows, one cow and then the next cow, pulling in, and hundreds of thousands of chicken being pushed into this machine. One chicken gets pushed down, gets slit, this throat gets slit, the next chicken gets slit, and it's all by machine. If we see that and our hearts doesn't get moved and we don't feel compassion, then that means our compassion has been damaged a lot. There are many people who see this once and they make the vow to become vegetarian. They don't have the courage to eat the meat of these animals anymore. And when they were able to do this in their daily life, they're able to nourish the love and compassion within their heart. And with these people, the issue of killing another person, harming another person will not happen. Because if we're not able to eat the meat or kill a small being, then we won't have the ability to kill a child or an adult, or shoot in the head. So in the world full of vengeance and violence and war, it is due to us not nourishing our compassion. Eating vegetarian is one of the methods to practice to nourish our compassion. Vegetarianism belongs to non-harming. Besides, we have to see trees and plants and the rivers and the air, the mountains, and see that the air, the trees, the rivers, the earth also needs to be protected because all the other beings have life. Animals, also plants and minerals have their own life. And we can kill the minerals, we can kill the water, the air, and the earth. And that also belongs to harming. Non-harming, ahimsa, is a great merit in Buddhism. When we don't have this non-harming value, that we don't feel compassionate in front of the killings and the destruction of life, then we don't have happiness. Because if we don't have compassion, we don't have happiness. So when we come into non-violence and non-harming and live a life of peace with all beings, then suddenly each step, each breath, each moment of life, we create joy and harmony. And in this way, we have true happiness. So, things that we consider that not very important, like eating vegetarian, truly is actually important. Back then, there was a poet who said this: Thiên bách nhiên lai, uyển lý canh, oán thâm như hải, hận nan bình, dục chi thế thượng đa binh kiếp, thế thinh, đồ môn, dạ bán thanh. It means thousands of years in the past. Just look at our bowl of soup each day and see the meat that's in that bowl of soup. We would see that the vengeance of all the beings that are being slaughtered is deep as the ocean. It's as great as the mountain. Oán thâm như hải, hận nan bình. Thiên bách nhiên lai, uyển lý canh. Canh means the bowl of soup. Oán thâm như hải, hận nan bình. Hatred deep as the ocean, and the vengeance high as the mountain, cannot flatten it out. Dục chi thế thượng bao binh kiếp. If you want to know the true nature of war in the word, thế thượng means in the word, the war. If you want to see the source, the nature of war in the word, you just have to wake up in midnight and hear the screams of all the beings being slaughtered. Thí thính, đồ môn, dạ bán thân. Dạ bán thân means the midnight. Đồ môn means the slaughterhouse or the abattoir. We only need to wake up at midnight and hear the cries of these animals. Then we see its true nature. So our eating is related to war. And if we eat in a good way, war will decrease. We have many politicians, many economists, and many scientists research to help decrease wars. But we know that in order for war to decrease, that's when our heart of compassion is not damaged. So that's why to practice so that our heart of compassion and non-harming is developed in children. And that's the best way to bring about peace. Someone says, God gives rice to fish so we can eat. Why not? And some people say we give rice to humans so that the tiger or virus will eat human. So it's the same question.